Welcome to the deep dive. So, JLab. They're back in the portable speaker market after, what, 7 years?
That's right, quite a gap.
Yeah.
And they've come back with this Pop Party speaker.
Right, the Pop Party. And the big thing here, the price tag is just $20.
Exactly. $20.
So our mission today really is to dig into this. Can a speaker that cheap actually offer, useful stuff? Or is it just disposable tech?
Well, what's interesting is how it feels. It's not positioned like a serious audio device. It's more about the experience, the features.
Okay, explain that. Features like what, for $20?
You get RGB lights, which is kind of fun, magnets built into the back,
Yeah.
and a full companion app.
An app for a $20 speaker.
It really makes you think JLab went all in on maximum novelty rather than pure sound quality.
Okay, let's unpack the physical side first then. The specs seem focused on convenience.
Totally. It weighs almost nothing, less than half a pound.
Yeah, and it has that detachable loop, right, for like backpacks or bike.
Yeah, clip it on anywhere. And those magnets mean you can just slap it onto a fridge, a toolbox, whatever's metal.
Handy. And it's got some water resistance.
IPX5. So yeah, it'll handle splashes, bit of rain, no problem there.
It sounds like it's almost designed to be, well, not precious. Like if you lose it, it's only $20.
Yeah, that seems to be the idea. Cheap enough to be replaceable. But the app, that's where it gets really unusual for this price point.
Right. You mentioned the app. Most competitors down here offer basically nothing software-wise.
Pretty much just on-off, maybe volume.
Mm-hmm.
But JLab, they give you actual customization.
How much customization are we talking?
Well, there are 3 standard EQ presets. Okay.
Yeah.
But then there's a full 10-band custom equalizer.
Wait, a 10-band EQ and a speaker that costs less than lunch?
Seriously, you can tweak the bass, mids, treble across 10 frequency bands. It's kind of astonishing, really. Over-engineered for the cost, maybe.
And that leads us to maybe the most bizarre feature mentioned in the review.
You mean the Sing?
Yeah, the ability to sync up to 100 of these things together. 100. I'm just trying to picture why. What's the use case for 100 pop parties playing at once?
It's hard to imagine, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it makes you wonder about their priorities. They spent development time coding that?
So if the effort went into the app, the lights, the sing, where did they cut corners? It has to be somewhere.
And that somewhere, predictably, is the sound quality. This is where expectations need a reality check.
Okay, so the physics kick in. What's under the hood?
It's pretty basic. A single 2-inch full-range driver, plus a small passive woofer on the back, and it's only pushing about 5 watts.
So how does that translate?
At lower volumes, it's actually decent. Vocals come through, okay, hi-hats are audible, the mid-range isn't bad.
There's always a but with budget tech.
But the moment you crank the volume up for like an actual party,
Yeah,
you're immediately reminded it costs $20. It just sounds small.
okay. So it doesn't punch above its weight, sonically.
Not really.
No.
If you put it next to something like, say, the JBL Go 4, which is around $50,
Yeah.
the JBL manages to sound bigger than it looks. The Pop Party, though, it sounds small because it is small. That's clearly where the compromise was made. Sound quality took a back seat to features.
Makes sense. And all those extras, the lights, the app running, must hit the battery life too, right?
Oh, for sure. That's another trade-off. The specs say 8 hours of playback.
Which isn't terrible.
Right. But that's with the RGB lights off, turn on the party mode lights, and it drops straight down to 5 hours.
And I bet loud volumes or bass-heavy music drains it even faster.
Absolutely. So it's fine for, an afternoon picnic or a couple hours in the workshop, but it's definitely not an all-day off-the-grid speaker.
So piecing this all together, who is this actually for? It doesn't sound like it's for anyone serious about audio.
No, definitely not. The review concludes it succeeds by being fun, portable, and, well, cheap. Feature-rich for the price.
So the target audience is?
Someone on a really tight budget, maybe. Or you need a quick replacement speaker on vacation because yours broke. Or maybe for a kid, something magnetic for their locker that won't break the bank if they lose it.
Right, the $20 price makes it almost disposable.
Pretty much. If you need better sound, you'd step up to that JBL Go 4. If you need more durability, maybe the Soundcore Select 4 Go. That's about $35 and has a better IP67 rating.
So the Pop Party really fails if you judge it purely as an audio device.
As a serious audio device, yes. But as a fun, cheap gadget, it kind of nails that.
It really is a fascinating little product, isn't it? A clear example of budget tech trade-offs, physics versus economics almost.
Exactly. JLab packed in a ton of features, magnets, lights, and app. But they had to sacrifice audio fidelity to hit that $20 mark.
So the final thought for you, the listener, to chew on.
Yet think about this. If the selling points are magnets, RGB lights, syncing 100 speakers, does that mean that at this super low price point, people actually value maximum features and novelty over core performance, like sound quality? Is fun the new fidelity when you're only spending $20? Something to consider.